Hello and welcome to the video on basic C++ syntax. In this lecture, we will see some common lines of code that we'll use in almost every C++ program. As you can see on your screen, you have a small C++ program written. What this program does is it will print hello world on the screen. Now, let us understand the structure of this program. On the first line that you can see, it's written #include iostream. This IO is known as the header file. This is the common header file for each and every C++ program. What this header file does, it has all the input and output functions provided in C++. So basically, if you have a look on this line, what it tells that cout into quotes hello world. So what this line will do, it will print hello world on the screen. And the keyword used for printing hello world is cout. Basically, this cout functionality is provided in iostream header file by C++. So it's necessary to include this iostream header file in your C++ program. The next line that we can see is using namespace.std. We'll discuss this line in detail in the upcoming slides. Now let us move on to the main function. As you can see, this is the main function of our program. The C++ compiler starts executing your program from the main function. For example, when you will run this code, the compiler will move on to this line, and what it will do, it will execute this line. It will print hello world. So if you have written something else over here, so it will print in that manner. So what we can see here is the execution of your C++ program starts from the main function. Now, one important thing to notice here is the semicolon. The semicolon in C++ is known as the line terminator. Basically, every line of code in C++ ends with a semicolon. If you don't write a semicolon after the line of code, then the compiler will throw an error. And now let us move on to the next slide. It's regarding the iostream. So what it tells, it's the common header file that contains all the input output operations. This is the common thing in C++, like when we have to take input from the user, we use cin. This we'll see in the upcoming lectures, but as you can see on the last slide, we have used cout and two angular brackets and the hello world. So what the cout basically does is it will print the text written between the quotes on the screen. So here we have used cout, and this cout functionality, as I told, is already provided in the iostream. That's the header file. So the header file is mandatory to include at the beginning of every C++ program. Now coming to the namespace std. So here what you can see, I have written the same C++ program, but this using namespace std is not present here. Now let us go back to that program. Here this line and in this program, this using namespace.std is not present here. So if we don't use using namespace.std, then we have to use std : cout every time we want to print something on the screen. So it's better to use using namespace.std to declare that we are using this cout for printing our text on the screen. So to avoid using std cout to use this every time, it's better that we declare using namespace std after declaring our header file. We'll see this thing in detail when we move on to the practical video. Then it will make much more sense. Now moving on to the next line. See here, as I was telling you, the execution of your program will begin from here. For example, this program, when we'll run this in the compiler, what it will do, it will print hi and then it will print hello. So the execution will start from the first line of the main function. For example, if I add one more line here, cout hello world. So what the output of this program will be, first it will print hi, that's the first line of the main function, and then it will move to the next line, that's hello, and if I add the third line, then it will print hello world. So the important thing to note here, the execution of your code will begin from the first line of main function. So this is important to remember. Now, as already told, cout we use in C++ to display some text on the screen. Like here, this is the general syntax for cout. Every time if you want to print anything, it's just not volatile text on also. You can also print integers or anything else. So what you have to do, you have to just write cout and remember this two angular brackets. Write this and then into the quotes the text that you want to print on the screen. This is the common syntax for printing anything on the screen, right? And one necessary thing, make sure to use a semicolon to end your code, on end your line of the code. Every statement in C++ ends with a semicolon that we've already discussed. The next important point to remember is C++ compiler will start executing your code from the first line of main function. Code inside the main function should be written between curly brackets. See here. The main function, after you write int main and close these brackets, you have to open a curly bracket and you have to also close that curly bracket. The lines written between these two curly brackets will be executed in that order respectively by the compiler. So this thing is also important, you should remember this. And the most important thing is always remember to include the IOStream header file at the start of your program. Thank you.